Ladies and gents, welcome to another review. Today we have none other than Logan Premium Format by Sideshow Collectibles. If you've been a fan of me for the last couple years, you would know that Wolverine is my favorite character. And having every single version of that character in my collection is a must. So when Sideshow announced they're making Logan, I got super excited. But when I saw it at San Diego Comic-Con, I knew I had to have this piece in my collection. So fast forward a couple months, and the bad boy is here. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the review. So this bad boy is part of the premium format line, which makes him 1/4 scale. He was sculpted by none other than Daniel Bell. And if you're not familiar with Daniel Bell, he's been an artist doing amazing stuff for quite some time now. He started originally doing private commissions, then he moved on to XM Studio, and now he is with Sideshow Collectibles. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite pieces in my collection was sculpted by him for XM Studio, and it's none other than the Weapon X, which I did some modification to it, and I'll make sure to review it in the future. But today let's focus on this bad boy. This statue is also mixed media, and what makes it mixed media is the pants. They're made out of cloths. A very talented person worked on the prototype by the name of Tim Hansen, and he did an amazing job, and I'll make sure to show you the pants later on in the review. The concept and the idea of this project is absolutely amazing. You guys know that I'm not really a big fan of action poses, but for certain characters, like Logan, like Wolverine, if it's done well, action pose is the way to go. And this is a perfect example of it. Right off the bat, you can tell what's going on in this story. Logan is in a fight. He looks ferocious. He looks angry. He's obviously in a bar. And the fight already started. That's why you see a lot of damage on the base. That's why you see a lot of broken pieces on it. So the story is already explained. Imagine this. Logan was fighting all day, the Sentinel. He got tired. He went home, changed his clothes, and went to his favorite place, which is the bar. And he's sitting there and having a drink, and some idiot who's drunk decided to mess around with this 5'3" guy. And all hell break loose. That's exactly what we have here. And I love it. The concept was very well done. And I don't want to keep mentioning people, but I'm very proud that some of the people that I know worked on this piece. Richard Long is one of the concept designer of this piece, and I want to give you mad props for doing it. Good job, buddy. Now let's talk about the sculpts and all the details for it. I'm going to start off by talking about the heads first, the body, the boots, and finally the base. The head that you see right here is a regular head, and that's my favorite. It really gives a perfect image of what Wolverine or what Logan is going through right now. He is angry, and you can see it in his eyebrows. You can see it in his forehead. You can see it in his eyes, in his open mouth with the tongue pushed back like he's screaming and angry. You can tell he is ferocious and ready to attack. I really like this head. When you move to the exclusive head, from day one, a lot of people did not like it. I was trying slowly to adjust to it because I'm trying to see what Sideshow was trying to portray, but it's still not my favorite. I really like the damaged forehead where it shows the adamantium, but the grin on the face, I'm not a big fan of it. They were trying to emit maybe an idea that Logan got attacked and he's looking at these people and telling them like, really? You have no shot, but I'm gonna kill you. So that's probably what they were trying to show. For me, this is the head to have, and if you are gonna miss out on the exclusive, don't feel bad, the regular will do. Now let's move on to the body, the upper body. Oh my God, that upper body. Right away when you look, you see those massive arms. If you've been collecting statues for quite some time, you know that sometimes it's very hard to portray a character that is that built without making him cartoony. But when you look at these arms, when you look at the statue, you can tell that it looks realistic. Wolverine is 5'3", full of muscles. So you need to have him build big arms, big biceps, big triceps, and that's exactly what we have here. But also look at the fine details, whether it's in the hair or whether it's in the veins. He has veins everywhere. And that is good because remember, the concept that he's pissed, and when Wolverine is pissed, veins are gonna pop out, claws are gonna pop out, and a lot of blood are gonna be everywhere. And that's what we have here. Great, great sculpt in the arm. If you move a little bit further out, the shoulders are so broad. Again, muscles everywhere. The back, very wide back, a lot of muscles going on there. And on top of it, a lot of details in the shirt. Whether it's the stripes on the shirt, whether it's the stitching at the edge, whether it's the wrinkles at the bottom, and finally, whether it's these scratches that he has on his right hand shoulder or right hand back. I wonder who made those. That should be part of the story too. If you move further down to the boots, cowboy boots, extremely well sculpted, very realistic. Look at the leather, look at the stitching, look at the weathering. Everything makes it into a perfect boot. So this is the attention to detail that differentiate a good sculptor from an amazing sculptor. And then finally, let's move on to the base. The base is beautiful. You can see there was massive destruction going on in the bar. First of all, the wood itself on the floor is damaged. Some are elevated, some are down, some screws are out, a lot of breakage, and then you can see a pull stake broken. The stool is completely trashed, whether it's the seat that has scratches and the cotton is coming out, or whether it's the feet of the stool that are completely destroyed. A lot of fine detail which makes this sculpt perfection. So now let's talk about the pants. Like I mentioned earlier, they're made out of material. They're mixed medium. And there's a lot of details on them. A lot of stitching going on. There's a very nice metal on the pocket. The belt is made out of pleather. And there's a very, very nice belt bucket in front. The reason why I like these pants a lot is because they're not too tight on his body and they're not too loose. You can still feel that Wolverine is extremely muscular underneath these pants. Now if you move to the claws are made out of metal. So please don't stab anybody with them. And the dog tags, they're not sculpted. You have to place them. And Sideshow did a very cool thing where they added a magnet around the neck area so you can just place the dog tag right there and they will sit there and they will not move left and right. So the sculpt and the detail on this piece, like I mentioned, are great. But what makes and breaks a statue is a paint job. You can have an amazing sculpt, but if the paint job is bad, you're not gonna go anywhere. But sometimes a mediocre sculpt with a badass paint job, it will look amazing. So this piece, I wanna give props for the factory. They did a good job following the prototype. It's very hard to capture skin tone. Sometimes it's too dark, sometimes it's too light. Sometimes there is too much shading, sometimes there's not enough shading. So to capture the perfect balance is important, and they did that here. I wish they applied a little bit more hair color, but that's okay, it's not a deal breaker. The eyes are great, the hair is perfect, the teeth could have been done a little bit better, but it's not a big deal. The boots are perfect. You can see the weathering in the colors. You can see that they're old. And now if you move on to finally the base, there's a lot of different brown washes all over the place. The regular brown wash on top, and where there's crack, it's a different color, it's lighter. Same goes for the stool. It's gray, and where there's crack, is lighter. You have also the leather on the seat. You can feel that it's used and it's old. And the scratches and how the cotton is coming out. A lot of different colors are applied. It's not just one monotone color. Now let's talk about finally the design of this piece. This is where I have a very small issue, but it's not a big deal. We'll talk about it, I'll point it out, and you guys can decide on your own. The way the statue is built, you have the base, and then you put the stool on top, and then you put Logan on top, 1 foot on the stool, 1 foot on the base. Then you put the left and the right arm, and finally the head. The design that I feel should have been done better is this here. Because his hand needs to be installed going this way, they had to shave some of the inner thigh. And by doing so, you can see a gap here. And I understand that because they need to make sure they have a placement for it. But what I don't agree to is the fact that they left part of the muscle sticking out. They should have shaved this part and it would have been one continuous loop and you would not notice it. But because this part is elevated, it elevates the pants and it just brings a massive dip. Again, you have to play around with the pants and find the perfect wrinkle movement so you don't see it. This part is not a deal breaker for a piece that looks as good as this. I want to thank you guys again for joining me and watching this review. It means a lot. All the warm welcome that you guys gave me on the first video shows me that you guys still want to see what I have to say about these statues and whatnot. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it. And again, if you want to see all the pictures that I have used in my video, go to my Facebook at Untitled Collector and go to my Instagram at Untitled Collector, and I usually post all these pictures there. And to top it off, I post some other stuff that are not related to YouTube, whether it's a comic book that I acquired or an artwork or anything that related to my life. So again, thank you for watching and I hope to see you guys soon.